Good morning. Whether you're waking up to sunshine, rain, or snow, have you ever wondered what's really driving the weather outside your window? Today, let's dive into La Niña, a powerful, yet often mysterious force that shapes weather patterns all over the globe, sometimes in ways you might not expect. You've probably heard the term La Niña tossed around on the news or in weather reports, but what does it actually mean? And why does it matter to people thousands of miles from the Pacific Ocean? La Niña is the cool phase of a larger climate pattern called the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or ENSO for short. ENSO has three phases: El Niño, which brings warmer ocean waters, La Niña, which brings cooler ones, and a neutral phase when things are more balanced. During La Niña, the surface waters of the central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean become noticeably cooler than average. This isn't just a small dip in temperature, it's a shift big enough to influence weather across continents. What causes this cooling? Stronger than usual trade winds sweep across the Pacific, pushing warm surface water westward toward Asia. As the warm water moves away, colder water from the deep ocean rises up to take its place, a process called upwelling. This upwelling is like nature's air conditioning for the Pacific. That patch of cool water in the Pacific isn't just sitting there. It sets off a chain reaction, or a domino effect, that shifts air pressure and even changes the path of the jet stream, a fast-moving river of air high above us that steers storms and weather systems. Why does this matter? Because the atmosphere is deeply connected. When the Pacific changes, it can mean blizzards in New York, droughts in Texas, or even more hurricanes in the Atlantic. La Niña can bring wetter conditions to some regions and drier, hotter weather to others, all depending on where you live. For meteorologists, La Niña is a crucial clue. It helps them predict long-range weather patterns, especially for winter, months in advance. By watching the Pacific, they can make better guesses about what's coming, whether it's a snowy season or a dry spell. Of course, La Niña doesn't guarantee your local forecast. Weather is complicated, and many factors are at play. But La Niña stacks the odds, making certain patterns like colder winters in the north or drier conditions in the south more likely. That's why understanding La Niña is so important. From farmers planning their crops, to city planners preparing for floods or droughts, to families deciding when to take a vacation, knowing about La Niña helps everyone get ready for what might be ahead. It's one of our best tools for peaking months ahead, giving us a window into the future of our weather and climate. So, the next time you hear La Niña in the forecast, remember, it's not just a buzzword. It's a global phenomenon, quietly shaping the weather you experience every day, no matter where you are in the world. Here's the latest update. The Climate Prediction Center has officially issued a La Niña Watch, and that's a big deal for anyone who keeps an eye on the weather. This alert means meteorologists are seeing early signs in the atmosphere and ocean that could soon tip the balance toward La Niña conditions. It's not a guarantee, but it's a strong heads-up that changes are brewing. So, what does a La Niña watch actually mean? In simple terms, it means the right ingredients are coming together for La Niña to develop in the near future. We're not there yet, but the odds are increasing. Think of it like a weather watch for a big storm. Conditions are favorable, and now's the time to pay attention. Just like when you see dark clouds gathering before a thunderstorm, scientists are spotting early warning signs in the Pacific Ocean. The atmosphere and ocean are starting to align in a way that often leads to La Niña, but we're still in the waiting phase. As of August 2025, we're technically in what's called an ENSO-neutral state. That means neither El Niño nor La Niña is currently dominating the Pacific. But beneath the surface, a pool of cooler-than-average water is lurking, stretching across the equatorial Pacific. This hidden reservoir is one of the key ingredients that could soon rise to the surface and trigger La Niña. Forecast models are now suggesting that strengthening trade winds, those steady winds that blow from east to west across the Pacific, could help bring that cool water up to the surface. If that happens, we could officially enter La Niña territory sometime between September 2025 and January 2026. These winds are like the engine that powers the shift, and right now, they're revving up. Most signs point to this La Niña being on the weaker side, and it probably won't last long. The latest outlooks suggest it will peak in early winter, think December or January, and then fade away as we head into spring. That means its biggest impacts will likely be felt during the heart of winter, but it could still leave its mark. Even a weak La Niña can shake up the weather in surprising ways. It can bring wetter conditions to some regions, drier spells to others, and sometimes even increase the risk of sudden storms or temperature swings. But this year, other climate patterns like the Arctic Oscillation or the Madden-Julian Oscillation might play an even bigger role in shaping our weather, so it's a complex picture. For you, this means it's more important than ever to keep an eye on long-range forecasts and seasonal outlooks. Meteorologists will be updating their predictions as new data comes in, so staying informed can help you plan ahead, whether you're thinking about travel, winter sports, or just getting your home ready for whatever comes. The Niña Watch is the first major signal that this winter could look very different from last year. If you remember last winter's weather, don't expect a repeat. This year's setup could bring new challenges and surprises depending on how the pattern evolves. Now's the time to start prepping, whether that means tuning up your snowblower, checking your emergency supplies, or just making sure you have warm clothes ready. Even if La Niña ends up being weak, it's always smart to be ready for change, especially when it comes to winter weather. So, keep your eyes on the forecast and stay weather aware. That's what's on my radar. La Niña splits North America into two weather zones, a classic tale of two winters. The jet stream shifts south, creating an active storm track across the northern US and southern Canada. For the north, this means colder, wetter winters. Think more storms, more snow, and more cold snaps. Travel disruptions and higher heating bills are common, and industries like construction feel the impact. Meanwhile, the south gets blocked from moisture, leading to drier, warmer conditions. It's not unusual to see blizzards in Seattle while Florida faces drought and wildfire risk. This north-south divide is one of La Niña's most reliable features. It's the foundation for any long-range winter forecast. Snow lovers in the northern US, get ready. La Niña often means more snow. The Pacific Northwest, Northern Rockies, Upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast usually see the biggest boost. In the Northwest, mountains get hammered with snow, great for ski resorts. The Northern Rockies and Great Lakes can expect deep snowpacks and enhanced lake effect snow. Cities like Buffalo and Erie are notorious for heavy snow during La Niña. Inland Northeast states are primed for all snow events as cold air and moisture combine. Bottom line, if you're in these zones, expect above-average snowfall. As winter approaches, Canada is gearing up for a season that promises to be colder and stormier than usual, thanks to the arrival of La Niña. This weather phenomenon is known for shaking up global patterns, and for Canadians, it means a return to the kind of winter that's both beautiful and challenging. The jet stream will dip further south, pulling frigid Arctic air into the heart of the country. Cities like Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, and Montreal will find themselves in the path of relentless cold snaps and frequent storms. Residents should expect more days where the temperature barely rises above freezing, and the wind chill makes it feel even colder. Out west, British Columbia and Alberta are in for a true winter wonderland. Temperatures are expected to stay below normal, with heavy mountain snow piling up in places like Whistler and Banff. Skiers and snowboarders will be thrilled, but travelers should be prepared for tricky road conditions and possible delays. The prairies, already famous for their harsh winters, will see even more intense cold and blizzard conditions. Icy winds will sweep across the open plains, reducing visibility and making travel hazardous. In cities like Winnipeg and Regina, snowdrifts and frozen streets will become a regular part of daily life. Ontario and Quebec will be the battleground for powerful winter storms. As Arctic air collides with milder southern systems, nor'easters and fast-moving clippers will bring heavy snow, strong winds, and rapidly changing conditions. Residents should be ready for sudden snow squalls and the possibility of school or work disruptions. In Atlantic Canada, the weather will be more unpredictable, with a mix of snow, ice, and even rain at times. Still, most of the region will see colder temperatures and frequent snowfalls, making winter travel and outdoor activities more challenging. Across the country, Canadians will embrace the season in their own ways, playing hockey on frozen ponds, bundling up in extra layers, and navigating icy roads with caution. It's a time for both winter fun and extra vigilance. While each region will experience winter a little differently, the message is the same everywhere. Prepare for a classic Canadian winter, with all its beauty and challenges. So stock up on warm clothes, check your snow tires, and get ready to enjoy or endure another unforgettable Canadian winter. Stay safe and stay warm. While the North digs out, the southern US gets a different story: warmer, drier winters. The jet stream blocks storms, keeping the south under mild, dry air from California to Florida. For California and the Southwest, this can worsen drought and wildfire risk. Across Texas and the Gulf Coast, sunny days are nice, but lack of rain stresses agriculture and water supplies. Fire danger stays high, especially in dry grasslands. La Niña's contrast is stark: blizzards up north, drought down south. Enjoy the sun, but stay mindful of water and fire risks. Let's talk about the polar vortex, the wild card of winter. Normally it keeps Arctic air locked up north, but sometimes it weakens or splits, sending frigid air south. La Niña increases the odds of these disruptions, especially if a sudden stratospheric warming (SSW) event occurs. An SSW can destabilize the polar vortex, letting Arctic air plunge deep into North America. During La Niña winters, the chance of an SSW jumps, making extreme cold snaps more likely. Even if your forecast looks mild, a polar vortex disruption can bring record cold for a week or two. The atmosphere is complex, always expect surprises. The polar vortex adds drama and uncertainty to any winter. We'll be watching it closely. Weather never stands still, and ENSO is always cycling. This La Niña is expected to be weak and short-lived, likely fading by spring 2026. Some models hint at a rapid swing back to El Niño by late 2026, maybe even a strong one. El Niño would flip the pattern: milder, less snowy north, wetter, stormier south. For drought-prone California, a strong El Niño could bring much-needed rain. Forecasting this far out is tricky, but scientists are watching closely. The climate system is dynamic. One year's pattern is just a phase. Stay prepared and stay aware. As we wrap up, remember, long-range forecasting is part science, part art. La Niña gives us a roadmap, but it's not the whole story. Other patterns like the Arctic Oscillation can change everything. These wild cards are hard to predict and can override the expected La Niña pattern. This year's La Niña is likely weak, so expect more variability and surprises. Meteorology is about probabilities, not certainties. Use this forecast to prepare, but stay flexible and check local updates as winter approaches. Be ready for snow if you're in the north, and watch for drought if you're in the south. The weather can always surprise us. That's what keeps us looking up at the sky. And that's the latest for today.